welcome you to our Monday 1-2-3 AGS training series webinar and conference call. This is week 3. We're excited that you're here. My name is Roscoe Thompson, joining you tonight from historic Route 66 here in Southern California. We've got folks joining us on both the webinar and conference call side from literally all around the country and all around the world. We are glad you're here. My privilege and pleasure to introduce you to our guest speaker and trainer for tonight's webinar and conference call. Kevin Gantos joins us from the Southern California market, and he and I met in this industry more than 20 years ago now, and we've become great friends over the years. But let me tell you a bit about Kevin Gantos. He's a business builder by background. He has built more than a dozen traditional corporations, many multi-million-dollar companies over the years, so he brings a wealth of business wisdom, experience, and acumen here to Ascend Global Services. In this industry of network marketing, he has been promoted to the top positions of several companies, well-respected leader in our industry. But beyond that, he's a family man. He and his wife married, been together over 40 years now, 3 great kids. He's got lots of grandkids coming now, and I know that's really, really important to him. Also a man of faith, has created something called the Dynasty Vision, has a real passion for global missions and ministry. And for those of you that know Kevin Gantos, you know his heart is to help each of us to succeed in our own personal businesses here so that we can reach the goals and the dreams that we have for our own lives. And like I said, we've been working together in this industry now many, many years. We've traveled the country, had a lot of fun, and built a lot of businesses all around the country together, met a lot of great people through the years. And in this company at Ascend Global Services, he is the Vice President of Business Development. Very, very excited that he is in that position with the company. And I want to turn this webinar and conference call over to Mr. Kevin Gantos.
Thank you, Roscoe. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can, my friend. It's all yours.
Well, thank you so much, Roscoe, for bringing me on to tonight's webinar. I think this is really key information. It's taken basically 20 years of reality to understand the significance of this training, and I can't think of a better person. Not only understands the training, but has implemented it, and you've had credible success, and I'm just excited. I will say this, you know, anybody that knows Roscoe Thompson, you have the ability to be able to work with an incredible individual. I always say, and you'll hear it on every call, if you slip through the cracks in his organization, it's basically your own fault. He's very meticulous. He communicates well with his organization and his key leaders, and he likes to build what we call organically. You're going to see a little bit of that as well. Tonight's training is very apropos because as we built organizations through the years together, we love the taprooting side of this. So a lot of people that are on this webinar and call, you've seen it. If this is your first time, we had basically our whole strategy, which is very key for your success, whether you're new in the industry or been in the industry for a while. And of course, the 3 key things is enrollment, right? Momentum and retention. Enrollment, momentum, and retention. Those are the keys if your objective is to build a substantial income by building an organization. You can't forego these 3 elements. They're very key. Attached to those elements, of course, is enrollment, is the power 1. What do I mean by that? Well, that means if everybody on this call, realizing that over 90% of the people that enroll in this industry do it on a very part-time basis on top of church, family, and job because they're seeking balance, right? The reality is this is power 1, allows you to be able to say, okay, can my business plan with my life afford me and the time to be able to enroll 1 new person a month for the next 12 months, and if I do it right, retire? You heard me right. Again, enroll 1 person a month for the next 12 months and teach your team to do the same. You will have built an organization over 4,000 people. So when we're talking on this call, there's people on this call like Mr. Thompson and Vincent Montgomery, and you know, some of the key leaders that are on here that have built organizations of thousands of representatives. I hear some incredible people that have organizations of hundreds of representatives, like a Jeff Manko, a Bill Brooks, you know, that has been seasoned in the industry. Barbara Smith is on the line, Connie Reeves, Ted Smith, and there's so many of you that are on here. I think I see Stephen Farrell, and of course I can't mention everybody that's on this, but I will say this, that the bottom line is if you're on this call or new to this industry, These are the key principles to building success. So that's number one. The second part that we talked about last week, which is a series of 3 things that intertwine with each other. Number 2, of course, that's the momentum side. That's taking that 12 months of the Power One and condensing it down to 12 weeks. So all you're doing is taking 12 months, condensing to 12 weeks. And I know for a fact, people that I personally know, along with many other leaders in the industry, have created basically 6-figure and 7-figure incomes using that strategy. And not most people don't have what I call the chutzpah to be able to move forward on that. But the reality is it's up to you on that 90-day blitz. Some people can do it part-time, but the objective is to enroll basically 20 people into your vision in basically a 30 to 90-day period. And in that reality will take you to the top of pretty much any compensation plan out there. Both strategies will. One will be done over time, because the Power One will allow you to build a team over a period of a year, 4,000 people, over 4,000 people, and if 90% of them don't do anything, that's still over 400 active reps, which will put you pretty much at the top level of most companies. Of course, if we think about the 90-day blitz, again, I'm going to repeat that, condenses the 12 months to 12 weeks. The inertia from that compression allows you to surpass and get into 6-figure incomes, providing you keep the right strategies, and that is enrollment, momentum, retention. Key is retention. And that's what tonight is about. This third piece is the glue that keeps it all together. The other trainings are basically coming out of the gate, moving, starting to obviously enroll people, build some momentum. But if you don't retain people, obviously the residual isn't key, right? You got to be able to retain it to keep it. And so we're going to roll right into this. And Roscoe, thank you again. And Vincent, thanks so much for being on tonight's webinar as well, and bringing your leadership on board, and many of the other people that are on here, Connie Reeves. And I'm gonna go right through this. So typically we take about a half hour and no more. And this will record, and this will be a prelude to next week, which is key, which is our first Monday of the month, right? Recognition and update call to the field and everybody in the organization. So that's one of my most favorite calls, because the people that are implementing these 3 strategies are being promoted and moving up through the compensation plan, and in doing so will be recognized next week. You might be that individual on tonight's webinar or call. You just enrolled. Well, you can actually be recognized in that call next week by simply hitting some minimal pin levels within the compensation plan. So again, let me roll right into this. Roscoe, thank you again for bringing me on. And great to be working together for sure. Well, here we go. So what is taprooting, right, in network marketing? It's a method of teaching everyone to get a recruit for a recruit in the first 72 hours and driving their legs of business, right, 10 levels deep. And what does this do? Well, this ensures what? Most importantly, long-term growth. And what's everybody after? Security. That's really the key to this thing, is building security. Okay, the numbers never lie. So when you do that, notice I said 10 levels deep. Why is that number significant? Because 10 recruits will typically lead you to someone that will lead you to another 10 recruits. That's the way it is. The numbers never lie. In other words, let's take it down another way. 10 presentations would get you a minimum of 1 recruit, and 1 recruit can lead you to another 10 presentations from their warm market contacts. You might not even enroll that person. You can actually work with that person and say, who do you know, that would be excited about starting a business, having a tax shelter, right, or having discounted travel, or be able to have purified, all the things that we market. What would that be, right? And you might start with Joe, who leads you to Jill. I worked with a young lady many years ago, which really had this happen inside of a week. We drove our organization 7 levels deep. That was Angela DeStefano. Angela came on board in the organization. The first person we talked to wasn't excited about the opportunity. But I didn't stop there. So there was a sense of urgency. I said, who do you know? And they led me to number 2, and number 2 didn't enroll. Number 3 didn't enroll. Number 4 didn't enroll. Number 5 didn't enroll. Number 6 didn't enroll. Those are all referrals. Those 6 people did not enroll, but the 7th one did. And from that 7th, out of integrity, it was not a strategy or manipulation. You're not going to find that here in this organization or this family. The objective was out of integrity. I had to go to number 6 because he led me to number 7 that was enrolling. And so I simply called back number 6. And I said, number 6, look, hey, you led me to such and such. This could be substantial, it might not, but it could be. And you might want to position yourself, where you at right now, because I couldn't hold on to number 7's paperwork to enroll them. So number 6 said, you know what, out of fear of loss, he said, look, put me in the system. I said, great, I'll need your information. I put him in the system, right? But not yet. I filled it out on a paper application. So 7 was on a paper application, so was number 6. And then, of course, I had to go to who? Number 5, because number 5 led me to number 6. And all the way up the line, believe it or not, all 7 people enrolled because of number 7 enrolling. This is powerful, family. You've got to get this. So if you get this, right, those were basically 6 no's to 1 yes, 7, right? And most people would quit after the first one and go to the next name on the list. So if you're working with somebody who has a list of 100 names and you did this strategy, you would have reached 700 people. This is what I want you to understand, the power of taprooting. So understand what that means. Thus the phrase, 10 will get you 1 and 1 will get you 10. The minimum goal, remember, is everyone is a gateway to someone else, just like the example I used. More importantly, don't park with the person you enrolled. Sometimes we're all guilty of that. Remember doing that in the very beginning. It's easy to do that because you know that individual. But the best thing you can do for that individual is to taproot through them. Had I parked with Angela, just parked with Angela, and the first person we called said no, she would have never had that excitement of that organization blowing up inside of a week. This is key. Your minimum goal is to take 3 lines. In this case, we'll put you in what? Lifestyle bonuses. If that duplicates out, it'll take you all the way through the compensation plan. Is to take 3 lines, 10 levels deep, and work the 3 newest reps in the depth of those legs. So they're the most excited. Then who do you want to work with? Look, just keep building, 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 okay? And run with them as if you personally sponsor them. Here's a case in point. As I've been in this industry, I'm going to use an example because we're building internationally, so I'm going to use an international story so you understand. When I say story in my space, right, and in the leaders on this in this company, the true stories, okay? And that story is simply this. I'm working with an incredible individual by the name of Maui Mendoza. And Maui Mendoza leads me to George Joseph. And George Joseph, right, leads me to Terry Bryan. And Terry Bryan, so understand, Maui Mendoza in Southern California, right? George Joseph, Southern California. Terry Bryan, Southern California, who leads me to Lonnie Boswell in San Diego, who leads me to Jonas Victor in San Diego, but leads me to the other side of the country in a little country called Haiti of 10 million people by the name of Stanley Privet, 23 years old, right, who leads me to Billy Fonte. And for Billy Fonte leads me to a young lady that leads me to an individual in New York that signs up a commercial electric bill, and Stanley in Haiti, right, 23 years old, is in position to get paid on electric bill. That's the reality of taprooting. That's why it's so significant. So if I just stopped with Maui, we would have never gotten to George, never gotten to Terry, and so on down the line. But here's what's key about that, right? So I fly to Haiti, right? And Stanley puts together a room of people in the hotel. He says, look, Mr. Gantos, I'm going to put together a team. Can you come out? I said, absolutely. I show up, and there's 600 people at that event in Haiti. This is key. Do you think for one moment that Jonas Victor above that, Lonnie Boswell, Terry Bryan, George Joseph, and Maui Mendoza were excited about that? Absolutely. So again, I can't work with all those people. So the key is you always carry the most influence in the depth of your organization, not the top. It doesn't that Maui doesn't respect me or vice versa, but the reality is, where do you think that is to a young man 23 years old in Haiti? When a U.S. businessman is flying out to that country, do you think there's some influence there? Absolutely. So it's not so much at the top, it's in the depth of the organization. Special note, working with the 3 newest representatives in the depths of your organization, you automatically support the other 27 representatives above them. See, I have to work with all 30 people. What's easier, trying to work with all 30 of your reps or 3? By working with the 3 at the bottom, you automatically support the rest. This technique will create a healthy fear of loss and excitement, all at the same time building a culture of success and, more importantly, recognition. This industry is driven by recognition. Recognition is key and mandatory. This is a volunteer army of business owners and CEOs that are all moving forward in one direction. And it's important that people are recognized for their efforts. And that's key. So that's very important. So 2, duplication. The objective is to find 3 leaders in 3 separate lines. 9 leaders in total. So when you drive a line, it's not about just finding one leader, it's anchoring that leader with another leader. So you have redundancy of leadership in an organization. This is key. That work independent of your involvement. I don't have to call Mr. Thompson or Mr. Montgomery or Mr. Mendoza or Mr. Benjamin Barco or Leslie, anybody, the leaders that are in the, I can't mention everybody that's in the company, but I don't think call any of them to motivate them. This is key. You want to find people that work independent of your involvement. It doesn't mean they're off saying you never talk. No, we do communicate. We fellowship together. We go on events together. We have masterminds, all of that stuff. But they're not blowing up your phone, as they like to say, every 30 seconds, okay? They just run. Think about it. Mike Mendoza and Benjamin Barco, right, along with his wife and Annabelle and all of that whole organization is launching, literally launching another country called the Philippines. Because they're doing it. They're using their own dime and flying out there. They're not coming to the company asking for this or that. But think about a Dave Bagayo, who's opening up different parts of the world as well, into Africa, through Michael. I think about a Leslie Drenicourt working in Haiti. He's already put together a whole system and forms and all of that stuff on his own dime and time, flying out to that country to be able to support and benefit the people of that nation. That's what AGS is all about. So that's key. Work independent of your involvement. Why? Because if one of your leaders, think about it, do people come and go? So it's not about them leaving because they want to leave the opportunity. Some people pass away. Sometimes life gets in the way. So they either leave or quit, whatever that reason may be, right? You still have that leg anchor with 2 other leaders, which in time, through those 2 leaders, will identify the 3rd new leader again anyways. This is important. This is true duplication and will afford you the lifestyle of freedom. That's why we got involved in this. I didn't get into this so I could work hard the rest of my life, right? I don't think anybody on this webinar or this call did the same. The reality is our objective is to be able to do what? And that's to have a lifestyle. What is equated to lifestyle? Traveling for most people. Knowing all the bills are going to be paid every month whether they work or not. To be able to have balance in our life, spirituality, family, health, and finance in that order. Be able to have time to go to church, family, and job, right? To be able to do all those things and retire out from that job. Jim Rohn says it best, work full-time on your job to pay your bills, work part-time in your business to build your fortune, and eventually you're working what? Full-time on your business to build your fortune. And why are you doing that? Because in time, you won't have to work to build your fortune. You will have obtained it, and in doing so, fulfill your dreams. And what's beautiful about our opportunity, most people want to do what we do anyways, and that's go out and travel. So we have truly an incredible opportunity. This is true duplication will afford you the lifestyle, freedom, and security you've been looking for, not the chaos of running a daycare, right? That's not what you want to do. Building the depth is key. In time, the 30 people that you brought on board will grow to 300, to 3,000, to 30,000. We know these numbers. Do the math. We have leadership, all of us in this organization, in this company, that through the years have collectively brought on between 100 to 150,000 representatives collectively in the industry. Now look at the company right now in humble beginnings. If you're on this webinar, you have no idea how well you're positioned. It's incredible. It's like we have a clean piece of paper and we're all coming together, one band, one song, right? One direction. And so the compensation plan is very simple. There's a one-page document that's just put together for the field. It's a very simple, I call it the AGS song. So if you're wondering about the math on how to make money here, look, it's a very simple business. Help 5 to enroll and pay no more. Take it 5 levels down. That's $100,000 a year in residuals. And it's coming from 3 places. So that's really the key. There's a document that's going to be following on here real soon Mr. Thompson and myself will put together to do the math and everything like that. So it gets to the field so you understand where that comes from. So anything that's put out there is documented. So family, do you think we can all work through this, tap through networks, tap through people's contacts and build an organization and teach them all how to help to enroll 5 people and pay no more, take it 5 levels down is $100,000 a year? What do you think $100,000 a year does for third world countries? The average household income in Haiti is basically $100 a month. In Kenya, where we open up, there's 100 to 200. These are the numbers. In the Philippines, it's basically $300 to $500 a month. This is life-changing income. So remember, by building a depth where you carry the most influence, you will keep the leaders above those lines of business, engaged and excited, which minimizes attrition. Attrition is when people leave. Residual isn't residual unless people stay. You've got to get that. Residual isn't residual unless people stay. In short, people will see activity, proper activity, and get paid, stay. People that don't, leave. Again, in short, people will see activity and get paid, stay, and people that don't, leave. There's 3 things to remember, which encapsulates all the 3 trainings in this series, right? There's really only 3 keys that are necessary in building a successful organization. And again, that's enrollment. Enrollment is the power of 1. That's, can everybody on this call and the people you know enroll at least 1 person a month for the next 12 months and teach their team to do the same? And if 90% of your team didn't follow that, but 10% did, growing that out exponentially, you'd have over 400 people in your team. Family, that puts you again at the top of any compensation plan. And then take that, you're going to have people that are in there, 10% of your leaders, 10% of your organization will embrace the momentum, the 90-day blitz. And this has created multi-millionaires in the industry. This is key 90-day blitz. And all it is taking the power of 1 and condensing it down and compressing it to 12 weeks instead of 12 months. That's not rocket science. And we have all these events that allow you to be able to move to these events. Think about it. We have a Haiti launch that's happening at the beginning of April. We have other launches in the Philippines. We have other launches as well that we're going to be all going on a cruise together. We have this call next Monday. These are all things to move your organization towards. And of course, retention is everything. And the way you retain people, again, is through taprooting. I mean, this is so key. Hopefully this makes sense to everybody that's on this webinar. This will be recorded. This series, really, so you understand, this series is going to be rolled out in the back office. You've already got the 1-page document. The other documentation that will follow up to validate and document the $100,000 a year is in there as well. And that's very, very key. All right, so between the unilevel and the lifestyle, right, is very, very key. Those are 2 of the 3 facets that allow you to be able to get paid that $100,000 a year. And of course, the check match. So again, it's unilevel, lifestyle, check match. And through those 3 facets of our compensation plan allows you to be positioned to get paid $100,000 a year, providing you help your team, right, and teach your team to enroll 5 people. And now it's free. They pay no more on their personal website. It's covered through the Ascend dollars. And of course, from there, you take it 5 levels down. That'll grow out your team exponentially. And from that, you'll drive $100,000 a year in income. Family, I hope this makes sense. I'm just honored to be here, to be able to serve everybody that's here. And trust me, right place, right time. And the most important thing is get rid of distractions. Focus on why you're here and remember why you started in the first place. And let's go change the world together. With that, this is Kevin Gantos, Vice President of Business Development, signing out. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.